Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Ithakwa's Bane bringing you gaming goodness. One of the missions of this channel is actually to raise awareness of gaming products that maybe we're not fully aware of, or that maybe deserve more attention than they get. And in this video, we're going to be looking at a small, cheap tool that I think should be in every role player's inventory, every role player's book collection. Now it costs a massive $2.50. And it's by Shieldice Studios. The Swift NPC Builder. It's good. Let's take a look. Here we have Swift NPC Builder by Shieldice Studios. Now this is actually quite a small, it's just a small little document, 22 pages. And what it provides is a very simple way of generating a lot of information and detail about NPCs, non-player characters that you or your party may come across during your role-playing adventures. So it's very useful for games masters or for solo players. But who else can benefit from a product like this? Well, players. Yes, you may think, well, I'm a player. The games master will generate the NPCs. Well, yes, but this can help you to define and detail your character. Or if the games master gives you the opportunity to design your companion or NPCs that you may find as hirelings, this can help you to generate information and descriptions of them. Well, here come the tabletop gamers. What about us? Is this purely for role-playing? Well, no. A lot of tabletop games, especially these days, can include things such as campaigns, where you will play skirmish or battles and it will follow some kind of narrative sequence, battle to battle, and then events will happen that will lead you to here. Well, do you need a villain for that? Do you want to sort of narrate the campaign in terms of the enemies that you face, about your leaders, your commanders of your armies? Do you want to write background stories on these? Or maybe the ultimate villain at the end, the big boss? Again, this little supplement here can help you. So it has quite a wide use in terms of who can use it and for what. And it's a very simple tool to use. All you need are two 6-sided dice. Now I've used exactly the same as they have here, black and red. You don't have to have black and red, but in the book, you are going to have a number of these tables. In fact, there are 41 of these tables, and they are D66 tables. What's D66, I hear you ask? Well, you roll two dice, 2d6, 6-sided dice. You designate which one is first and which one is second. And if you look at the tables here, they use the black and red dice. Black comes first, red comes second. You roll the two dice, so this will become a 1-6. You then look for 1-6, guardsman. That's it. And all of the tables in this book are exactly the same format, and they cover a huge variety of things. In fact, I quickly came up with a little NPC generation page, and I've actually listed down all the tables, not name, obviously. The name is something you come up with yourself. But NPC type, species, overall descriptor, skills, secrets, main drive, emotional state, tattoos, scars, quirks and ticks, heirlooms, potions, power source, family crest, backstory. There's so many. There's 41, as I mentioned just now. It may be excessive for you to roll all of these for every NPC that you meet. It's going to be a lot of work. But it does offer you the ability, as a games master, it offers you the ability to quickly construct, like I say, details and depth to the NPCs that you bring to the table. And something like this you can use on the fly. You don't have to prepare sort of days in advance, hours at a time, to come up with interesting characters or NPCs. This book, you can actually do it pretty quickly, as long as you don't try and do all 41 different things, different aspects of the character. So yes, within this little supplement, and like I think, as I mentioned in the intro, at the time of recording, it's only $2.50, $2.50. It's very cheap, and like I say, it can be a hugely useful little supplement, and not just for role players. So you see here, there's a little bit of a description at the top covering the two sort of rolling tables underneath. Maybe here you would select either wearing armor for something more sort of fighty in nature, if your NPC or character is a fighter. Maybe down here for things like clerics or mages, so wearing armor or wearing robes. Main drive, what drives this NPC? How can that link up with how you introduce it into the story, into the game? Tattoos, preferred weapons or preferred spells, scars. Even if you really want to go into the depth of it, what does their voice sound like? What kind of voice do they have? Do they have a voice which is booming or mellow, thin, sonorous, raspy, harsh? You can go into a huge amount of level of detail in here. But, pick and choose how much you want. What elements do you think would benefit your game? Again, for solo players, again, hugely useful. And again, like I mentioned earlier, for tabletop gamers, in terms of giving some depth to the enemies that you face, the commanders of your army. This, again, can help you to give it a little bit of that narrative depth. Colors, materials, flaws, positive traits. There's a huge here. Like I say, 41 different elements, and a little bit in terms of how to start developing their backstory. At the back is a little extra, a little dice drop where you can generate some kind of random greeting. Stay away. So this is what it is. It's 22 pages of kind of generic random tables to help you really flesh out any NPCs or characters that you need information for and details for. Now, I am going to generate one. I'm going to roll on each of these tables. Yes, every single one, just for the sheer hell of it. I don't know how long this is going to take, but we'll do it. Let's do an example. Now, the first thing that you will need to do is to kind of generate what kind of NPC they are, so NPC type. If you have already something in mind for the NPC or for the character, you may not want to roll for this, or maybe you know what kind of general type they are in terms of passerby, adventurer, lowlife, or wild person. Those are the four general tables that we've got here. But if you're not sure or you want it completely random, you can roll a d4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you don't have a d4, you can also probably roll a d6 and maybe ignore 5s and 6s. Just take 1 to 4s and just keep rolling until you get a 1 to 4. But for our example, for our sample, let's roll a d4. We get a 4. So our NPC is going to be a wild person. And now we roll d66 to find out exactly what kind of wild person they are. So again, black first, we get a 4-3. So a 4-3 is an old druid. Okay, this could also be used to help sort of generate ideas for scenarios or quests. So as the party or yourself, if you're a solo gamer, as you come across this person, this old druid, maybe they have a quest for you, some kind of scenario for you. I have previously covered another one of Shieldice Studio's tools the scenario builder, which could actually be used with this to generate an adventure for your party. But rolling up the NPC, like I say, it could give you that first step in terms of coming up with adventure ideas. So next, we're rolling up species, which is here. So for this one, we're just rolling a D66. Our old druid is 6'3", a fairy. Okay, I think we can work with that. If, and I should highlight this, you don't, there's no set in stone rules regarding this or anything else when we play games, yeah? If you roll up something that really doesn't work or you really don't want, ignore it. Roll again, it's fine, it's your game. All right, so if anything comes up that you really do feel doesn't fit or won't work or anything else, just re-roll it. In this case, fairy, I think fairy could work. I mean, it may cause a little bit of complexity, maybe some thought in terms of how the party, again, or myself as a solo gamer, would maybe interact with them, but I think it could work. Right, what's next? So we've got a fairy, an old fairy druid. Maybe they want some help with something, but that's not the purpose of this. We're not here to kind of find out what they really need help with. That is for the scenario builder. Here, we're just trying to find out who they are. So next thing is overall descriptor. So again, we're just rolling D66. We get a 4/4. Portly. So we've got a kind of chubby, sort of XXL fairy druid. Okay. I'm imagining, I'm visualizing what this fairy is going to look like. Now, I don't think there is a category in terms of gender. So that can be completely up to you in terms of which gender you would like the NPC to take. Like I say, I don't think there's any actual role to determine gender. I think that one, you leave it up to yourself. Next, what do we have on the next page? We have attire descriptor. So what's their sort of general appearance? Sort of first impressions kind of thing. Again, D66. We get a 2/3. Intricate. So maybe the clothing that they're wearing and all of their sort of tools, sort of hanging bones and talismans, maybe they're very intricately detailed and carved, a lot of sort of runes maybe on them. Okay, next, skills. Now this one may need a little bit of, I don't want to use the word cheating, but maybe we may have to re-roll here because maybe some of these may not be suitable for what we've rolled so far, yeah? So like a fairy, an old fairy druid who's portly may not be very good at siege warfare. Possibly. Let's find out. Right, so skills. What kind of skills do they have? Now, again, this could generate random skills or random abilities for something like a hireling. Maybe they're a cook, or maybe they're a blacksmith, or maybe they are like some kind of trainer or instructor. So let's roll and see. We get a 1/6. A 1/6 is magic. So this NPC, this character here, we'll come up with a name once we've finished. But this old fairy druid is very good in the use of magic. It's like his mastery, or her mastery, however you want to do it. Right, what's next? Emotional state. Now again, as I've mentioned before, you don't have to do all of these. I mean, there's a lot. There's like 41 to roll on. I don't think it's a good idea to do all of them, to be very honest with you. But if you really want to get deep, do a deep dive into this character, into this NPC, things like emotional state can really help the role playing, yeah, and really help the interaction. So we're going to do it. We're doing them all. Emotional state. Let's have a look. Are they happy? Are they sad? Now, this could also possibly change. As the game progresses, as you interact and maybe work with them or journey with them, maybe their emotional state could change. Maybe if they're sad, maybe staying with you, achieving some goals. They could change their emotions to becoming happy. Let's see. Let's see what they start off with. We get a 1-1. Happy. Okay. I feel happy. Emotional state at the moment. This person, this old fairy druid, is happy. Current action. So what are they doing when we get to meet them? Again, this could actually help you to integrate them and to sort of introduce them to the party. You know, what are they doing as they come across each other? So again, we're going to roll. We get a 2-4. Bump. Storytelling. I mean, this could be represented by maybe the party is kind of getting late at night. Maybe they come to a clearing. They hear some sort of conversation in the distance, and there's a clearing, and there's some maybe a group of elves, possibly halflings, maybe, and there's this weird little sort of chubby fairy in sort of like a druid's sort of outfit, and he's sort of telling stories by the campfire, maybe sort of reminiscing about the old days when he used to be more active and helping the sort of fight for nature kind of thing. All right, so current action, storytelling. All right, again, this could be done all sorts of ways to introduce them to your characters. What's next? Main drive. I think this one could actually be a very important one. Maybe one of the ones that you should always use when you're developing an important NPC, an NPC that's going to be, hanging around a while, or some NPC that's kind of important to the adventure or the story. You kind of want to know what's their drive in life. Why are they doing these things? Why are they where they are? Why are they what they are? And like I said, this could actually be quite an important element of their details. So I'm thinking that this should always be rolled. Secret. This could also be a sort of compulsory roll, because again, it adds that little bit of depth, that little bit of possible guilt or danger in terms of the NPC themselves. So I think these two are actually, I think I would always roll these ones. Right, let's have a look and see. So main drive, we get 6-1, proving oneself. Oh, this is a good one. Maybe, again, we have that storytelling thing. Maybe, like I say, maybe he's at a clearing, sort of telling stories around the campfire to a group of travelers. Like I say, maybe reminiscing for the past. Maybe something went wrong in his past. Maybe he wasn't able to save certain animals or a certain area of the woodland or something, and it's kind of eating him apart. So he's trying to prove himself, trying to sort of atone for past mistakes, maybe. So proving oneself is the main drive. What about their secret? What kind of secret do they have? We've got a 3-4 addiction. Now again, it doesn't actually. There's not a table here for me to roll on in order to determine what they're addicted to. But again, that's where your creativity and your innovation can come in. Let's have a think. An old fairy druid proving themselves. They are happy. Portly, so maybe some kind of food. And this could possibly link in with some kind of quest for the characters in terms of it's like a rare kind of food that this NPC really sort of needs and likes, and he needs the adventurers to find some for him. Maybe some kind of rare spice or herb or meat, maybe. Meat could be a good one, because that could be a good secret, because as a druid, I don't think they're supposed to eat. I don't think they're supposed to eat animals, are they? But maybe it's like a secret. Ooh, yeah, that could be kind of dark, a kind of dark secret. They crave a certain kind of meat, and for obvious reasons he can't get it himself. Oh, okay. I'm getting some ideas for stories here. Right. What's happening next? And again, all these things that we're rolling up helps to helps to visualize the character. Again, brings ideas in terms of storytelling, getting them involved with the players, with the adventure. What's next? We're having fun. Wearing armor and wearing robes. As a druid, I'm thinking maybe I won't roll for the armor, but for the robes, definitely. And again, being a fairy, I don't think there's a lot of armor that may be applicable to them. So I think what I'm going to do for our character here, for our NPC, the druid, I'm not going to do the armor. So I'm not going to be rolling every single one by the looks of it, but I will be rolling in terms of their robes. Let's see what kind of robes they're wearing. We get a 3-4 again, 3-4. Diviner robes. Okay, that could be worked into it. What's next? Right, next we have preferred weapon and, preferred spell. I think we can do both for this. For the preferred weapon, I may have to re-roll if it's something that a fairy can't wield. Maybe for the preferred spell, again, I may have to re-roll if it's not very druid-like. Now, I know that there are certain games. I haven't played D&D for a long time, and at the moment, I refuse to play D&D for obvious reasons. But I think in D&D, the way that I remember it was that the druids and the clerics and the mages all had kind of like a spell list that they had to choose from. So maybe not all of these spells would be on those lists. The games that I tend to prefer playing now, the non-D&D games, they tend to have a bit more flexibility. So, again, let's see what we get first. So, weapon. Let's see what we get. We may have to re-roll, because I'm not going to have a fairy with a bastard sword or a battle axe. What we got? 3-5. A 3-5 is a mace. Okay, that's workable. Again, I might get comments down below saying, druids can't use maces. Well, I don't know. In D&D, that may be the case, but why can't they? My way of thinking, if he wants to use a mace, let him use a mace. I think back in the day when I used to play D&D, like first edition, second edition, red box, advanced D&D, first and second edition, I think that's kind of where I stopped. I think clerics were forbidden to use slashing weapons because they weren't supposed to kind of draw blood kind of thing. Again, put down in the comments if I'm wrong. It's been a long time since I played games like that. I've moved on to much better things. But my fairy druid, yeah, he's got a small mace and he's good with it. Preferred spell. Okay, let's see what we get here. We get a 2-3, cure disease. Yep, that'll work. So maybe that's his kind of speciality. Maybe he's able to get better results with that spell, sort of better than normal results with that spell, because it's his main focus. In fact, when we rolled up his skills, it was magic, wasn't it? It said that he was very strong, very good. His major skill is in terms of magic. So maybe his ability to cure diseases is well known. I don't know, maybe there was proving oneself. Maybe the thing that he's kind of regretting or sort of embarrassed about was maybe when it failed. Maybe there was an area of maybe like wild magic where the spell was miscast maybe, and it had the opposite effect, and that's kind of sort of gnawing at him kind of thing. So he's trying to prove oneself. Yeah, okay, okay. Getting more details. What's next? Tattoos. Now again, things like tattoos, scars or injuries, it's all optional. You don't have to roll on all these tables, but I think tattoos and scars and injuries again can add that layer of character depth to make them a lot more interesting. Now again, I don't know, maybe for my old fairy druid, they may have tattoos, or maybe like tribal markings, but maybe if I roll something that is really not suitable, maybe I'll just ignore it. But we're going to see, because it might be something really sort of suitable and really works with the character, or how I visualize the character. So we get a 3-6, celestial chart. A celestial chart. Okay, I'm thinking like was it Waterworld, where that kid had that map on his back, or her back? doesn't really make much sense, but I suppose it could fit in the story somehow, but it's going to take a lot of work. I'll write it down, but I'm kind of thinking that could be something that maybe I just re-roll or ignore. Why would he have a celestial chart? Well, let's write it down. I can always sort of cross it through or sort of delete it later, but let's write it down because I might be able to work it into the story, into the background. Again, it may be something that links the party with him. Rumors are that he has this tattoo, some kind of prophecy linked with the celestial bodies kind of thing. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Right, scars or injuries. Again, I'm kind of thinking that I would always roll one of these. But again, if it's really not suitable, re-roll. Again, it adds interest, it adds detail. Let's see what we get. We get a 6/5. An unhealed wound. Yeah, that could work. And I mean, that could be something very minor, but it could also be something quite major, depending on how I want to integrate this character into the story, how I visualize it. I could do either way. I could even maybe roll a sort of yes/no, like a 1 to 3 major, 4 to 6 minor kind of thing, if I really wanted to sort of know the extent of that wound. But at the moment, we'll just leave it as an unhealed wound. Right, what is next? We've got next is the voice. Again, something like this you may want to kind of ignore for your sort of general NPCs, but maybe somebody important you might want to add. For our NPC, let's roll it anyway. Let's see. Let's see what kind of voice they have. We get a 3/5, which is a 3/5 mellow. Again, that could work. Okay, mellow voice. Yeah, that could work. Quirks and ticks. Again, it adds a lot of depth to the character with this one. So let's see. Let's have a see. 5/6. Picking at their cuticles. Again, that could probably work. Maybe they're always kind of picking at their fingers or something like that. Yeah. Okay. Next, what do we do? What do we do next? Okay, worships and enjoys. What does your NPC do with their downtime? Do they follow a god and do its bidding, or simply drink the days away in the tavern? Well, I mean, as a druid, in terms of who they worship, may be limited in terms of the game or the setting or the sort of world that you're playing in. So this may not be something that I can roll for this. I mean, let's roll. I may get something suitable anyway. 1/3, a god of war. No. All right. So I'm not gonna do the worship thing because I'm pretty sure that they have to worship a certain god. Oh God, let's have a think. Is it Forgotten Realms? Was it Mailiki? Oh, it's been a long time since I've played that, but I can't remember. But I think druids have a very sort of set religion or what they worship, the old way or whatever. So yeah, maybe this isn't suitable to be rolled for this particular NPC. Enjoys. Looking at what there are, again, I may have to re-roll, but let's see what it gives us. We get a 1/5 fencing. No, I don't think that's going to be suitable. We're going to re-roll that. We get a 3/6 carousing. Okay, that fits in with the storytelling. It could also fit in with the addiction. Maybe drinking, not food. But yes, that could definitely fit in. I mean, in fact, that could help us to determine in terms of the addiction, in terms of storytelling. When he gets drunk, yeah, he always starts telling stories, for good or bad. And again, that may have something to do with, proving oneself in terms of what they did wrong in the past, and they're having to prove themselves better, maybe. And the last one of these, there's some more over the other side. Okay, curse. Next one is curse, is it? Ooh. Curse and additional descriptors is on this page. Now again, if you don't want your NPC to have a curse, just don't roll it, it's fine. But again, it adds a little bit of depth. So we're going to roll it. What's going to be our character's curse? 2/1. Eternal thirst. Oh, it fits in so well. Karoo, no wonder he's addicted. He has an eternal thirst for the alcohol. Now, where this curse comes from, again, maybe we'll use some other kind of generator for that. We'll come up with an idea for ourselves. Maybe he was the bane of some kind of witch or some kind of hag, and they cursed him because of what he was doing to protect the forest, while the hag or the witch was trying to disturb it, disrupt it, destroy it maybe. Ooh, that fits with a few things we've got already. Now, we are approximately halfway there. We've done the NPC type and species, and we've done all of these. However, there are more. There's a bunch more to roll up. So we will continue. And the next one we have is additional descriptor. So this could basically just give some finishing touches in terms of what the character looks like and everything else. So we're going to roll. What do we get? Let's have a look. Again, we're going to re-roll anything that doesn't really work. 3, 4, transparent. I think fairies have the ability to go invisible, don't they? And again, it really depends on the game you're playing, the setting and everything else. Fairies in one game are going to be completely different to another game or system. But when I think fairies, I'm kind of thinking of things that can easily hide and go invisible to hide from the big folk. So I'm thinking that that's kind of part of being a fairy anyway, but I don't want them to be permanently transparent because that doesn't really fit. So I'm going to write it down, but I'm thinking that this would be more sort of like a racial ability, not necessarily like a character ability. Up next, power source and archetype. From where do they draw power? Magic user or not, some NPCs may be connected to certain aspects of the world, such as nature or death. This can inform the type of spells they use. So if, like with us, we've kind of already rolled up that they're a druid. If you don't roll up some kind of magic user, maybe you could have a character which does sort of draw on some form of energy, maybe to power their innate luck or something. Again, I'm kind of thinking that it's going to be nature anyway. So if I get something that's kind of doesn't make sense, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't roll on this one again because they're a druid. But what do we get anyway? We got a 5/2 arcane knowledge. Nah, again, really not. I'm gonna put nature because as a druid, I think that's kind of automatic anyway, right? Archetype. I'm not sure if this is gonna work with this NPC, but we'll roll. We'll see what we get. We get a 1/4. The artist. I could work that into the character, I suppose. In terms of interests or maybe hobbies, you know, artist. I'll write it down. Okay, that could work. What's next? Add some items to your NPC's pack. Perhaps these items can be given to the party as rewards for helping them or taken from their corpse should the NPC meet a grisly fate. Now, at the top here, there are some questions, and over here as well. Is the NPC wealthy? Do they carry coin? Are they looking for work? These are additional things that you can roll, again, to kind of add a little bit of flavor or color as to how they incorporate themselves into the adventure or sort of introduce themselves to the party. It says flip a coin. You could just roll 1 to 3, yes, 4 to 6, no, or something, yeah? I mean, let's try it. Is the NPC wealthy? We're doing 1 to 3, yes. Yes, they're wealthy. Do they carry coin? Yes. Are they looking for work? Yes. So again, more details. We can give them a job or something. Again, maybe this would be good as some kind of hireling. But I'm thinking that my NPC, I'm kind of visualizing them more as a quest giver rather than a hireling or a companion kind of thing. Right, and then you can roll for a couple of items that they can have on their person. A couple of things of interest, like I say, they could be given as a reward or can be found if they die, kind of thing. Yeah, we're gonna roll. You never know. So item 1 is a 3/3, a necklace. Now, Again, it doesn't say in terms of value or anything like that. So again, you could roll a D6, a D percentage, a D20 to determine how many coins it's worth. We're not going to do that. We're just going to have it as a necklace. I could always roll up a random value if it's ever taken. Item 2, we get a 4/6, a cloak of invisibility. But it's going to be tiny, isn't it? Who's going to wear it? Anyway, I'm going to write it down. Right, here we've got potions and heirlooms. Again, these are optional. If you don't want the NPC to have potions or heirlooms, perfectly okay. You can also up here flip coins to answer these questions. Can the NPC brew potions? Have they lost their family heirloom? Do they want your help? So again, you can let luck decide on these sort of things. Can they brew potions? Yes. Have they lost their family heirloom? Yes. There's a lot of yeses on these rolls. Do they want your help? No. Let's roll them anyway, because maybe our druid does have a potion. Oops. We're going to roll. We get a 4/4. A 4/4 is a fear potion. Ooh, useful. Maybe our druid NPC uses this fear potion to sort of drive away people that they don't like or that they don't want in the area, or maybe are a danger to him. He sort of comes to their camp at night, invisible, hidden, and sort of introduces it into their sort of water skins or something, and basically gets them to kind of leave the area out of fear. Yeah, works. Heirloom, I don't think I would roll this, to be honest, but let's roll anyway to see what it would be. We get a 2/6, a bird brooch. I think that could work with a druid. Other things I'm kind of thinking wouldn't really fit with the story, but I think a bird brooch could work. And again, it offers just that alternate quest or adventure or request from the NPC for the party or for the player. You know, they've lost their bird brooch. May not be worth very much in terms of coinage or gold, but maybe it has a lot of sentimental value. And it's like a family heirloom. Yeah, I think that could work. What's next? What is next? Items of clothing. And again, I've said this a few times already. All these things are optional. You don't have to roll all of them. Yeah? But again, it adds depth. Items of clothing. So we know that our druid has diviner robes, but is there anything other? Are there any other items of clothing that sort of grabs my attention? Let's find out. We get a 5/4. A 5/4, a veil. Okay, that could work. Maybe this is a female druid. Okay. So they wear a veil. Maybe not all the time, but maybe they have a veil on them. Next destination. Yeah. If you want to find out where the NPC is heading or where they're planning to go. And again, you can link this in with the party or your game's campaign or adventure. Then again, it gives you an opportunity here. Now, it just gives you very sort of general destinations. It doesn't give you a lot of detail, but again, this is because it allows you to integrate it into your particular world, your particular setting. So where is this fairy? Okay, maybe at the moment they're, like I say, maybe telling stories over a campfire to a group of travelers in a clearing in the forest. But where are they actually planning to go next? Let's find out. 1/1. A castle. Maybe they're going to the nearby castle. Why are they going there? What inhabits the castle? Well, I think the scenario builder is the thing that we would use to find that information out. But yeah, that's where they're going, the nearest or the nearby castle. Again, we could check our setting map to determine which of the castle, or maybe roll randomly to figure out which of the castles they're actually going to. Okay, what's next? Color and material. Okay, now these are not necessarily to be rolled on their own, but you can use them in conjunction with other things that you've rolled up. So for example, we had a necklace as one of the items that this druid has. You could roll the color of the necklace and possibly even the material of the necklace, the cloak, the robes. You know, there's a number of elements that you could actually use these to roll with. You could also use them to, for example, to find out the color of their hair, color of their eyes, maybe even color of their skin. you could use these tables themselves to actually randomize that. Now, in our case, I'm not gonna bother too much with that. So I'm just gonna leave these for the moment, but that is what these ones could be used for. What's next? Next is flaws. So we've had secrets, we've had emotional state, we've had their main drive, but you can also do positive and negative traits, again, to add some more depth to the character. And again, maybe what you roll up won't be suitable, but it's fine. Re-roll if necessary. So what is our druid's flaw? I mean, apart from being addicted. The secret was they're addicted, carousing, so that, basically they like their drink, this NPC. They do like their drink, but they have another flaw, 2-6. Cowardice. Ooh, that could link up with how they want to prove themselves and problems in the past. Okay, so at heart, they are cowards. But every negative, we need a positive. So what is their positive trait? They may be cowards, but they are cooperative. All right, they're team players. They work well with people until it gets dangerous and then they run away. Or in our druid's case, fly away and go invisible. What's next? Family crest. I think this role here would be very situational in terms of who your NPC is, where they're from, what they are, kind of thing, because I don't think this is going to be relevant to a lot of NPCs, but it could be very relevant in terms of somebody of position, somebody of standing, somebody who's maybe like a knight, a paladin, a cleric, a rich family maybe. But again, I think for our druid, I don't think I'm going to roll that one. I don't think it's going to make sense. What do we got here? Surname or nickname? Oh yes, we could actually come up with part of their name, and then we just have to come up with a forename. Yeah, let's roll up their surname or nickname, shall we? So, we get a 1-6 sunflower. Yeah, I think this is going to be a female. All right, so they're going to be known as sunflower. Oh dear. So I'm going to make their name something sunflower. Yeah, that fits. A lot of these random roles actually seem to be working very well with each other. Seem to mesh. Now, I think we've only got 3 things left, and 2 of them may not be suitable for your campaign or for your game, because advanced weaponry and advanced items would be more for settings such as steampunk, or maybe sort of Victorian settings or modern settings and things like that. And this Swift NPC Builder is very much focused in terms of fantasy. But if you do have things like steampunk or maybe a high technological level within your campaign, I think there's a Monty Cook, can't remember the name of it, but I think there's a Monty Cook setting where it has like high technology. These 2 tables are going to be very situational, and again, I think in our case, if we're doing a sort of generic fantasy setting, we're not going to roll them. But we have one more, backstory. And this just gives you a very basic 1-sentence introduction in terms of where they're from, who they are, and everything else that you can definitely then evolve and expand. So let's see what we get. And again, if it's not something that works, re-roll. We get a 5-6. Became an archery mentor to young adventurers. I get that. That doesn't make sense. Doesn't fit. It doesn't fit at all. 4-6. Led a rebellion against corrupt leaders and won. That is a bit of a stretch, but I think it might work. It could work. Again, some of the ideas, the sort of seeds of ideas that I've been coming up with as we've been rolling up this NPC, have been sort of leading in certain directions. This could take me down a totally different direction, but again, you can then bring all the elements that we've rolled up to sort of suit one path, and that could actually work. And I'm thinking that could actually work with that could actually work with, where was it? The curse? Zoom. Yeah, zoomed in for a better look. So yeah, corrupt leaders. Yeah, maybe one of the corrupt leaders of the nearby fairy community that I was kind of a part of, and maybe came from that community. Maybe the leaders were, or the leader possibly was like a magician of some kind. And I led a rebellion against them and won, but maybe that was the person who cursed me with eternal thirst as, you know, as kind of like a revenge. Again, I rolled pretty much everything here. There were a few that I didn't roll because it didn't kind of make much sense. But with all this information, you can really come up with a very detailed, very interesting, very beneficial part for your campaign or your adventure or your story. And as I mentioned at the start, this is not necessarily just for role players and games masters in particular. If you're a solo player, a solo role player, this again, definitely very useful for generating NPCs that you come across. For games masters, you can generate, again, NPCs for your campaigns, for your players to meet. But also, if you're playing things like tabletop games that have narrative campaigns and things, you can use this system to generate the enemy commanders, the enemy leaders, even certain monsters that you find. You can actually generate a lot of information here. You don't have to do the whole thing. For example, maybe you're playing a campaign and you get a random monster turn up. You could roll maybe species to find out not necessarily that it's a monster, but maybe it's some kind of humanoid, an NPC that turns up, and you can generate some information here which could help you to determine their statistics, how they're going to behave in terms of the skirmish or the battle that's happening on the tabletop. Will they aid a certain faction? Again, you can find out based on some of these rolls. How are they going to attack or defend themselves? Again, within here, you can actually roll up those kind of details if you want your campaign, your games, your sort of narrative adventures, and that's like even miniature games, if you want it to have that much more depth. But I do like this little supplement. I do like this little tool. And for how little it costs, it brings a lot to the table. It brings a lot to the table. Yeah, literally. It brings a lot to our game in terms of giving us all this detail and depth. And I think that this, and again, I think at the time of recording, it's on drive-through. I think it's like $2.50. It's pocket change, and you're getting a really useful tool. Just ask Sunflower, our old fairy druid. Right. So yeah, I do have some other books and tools from Shieldice that I will be doing in future videos. But yeah, Swift NPC Builder, highly recommended, and something that I think should be in everyone's collection, even miniatures players. So guys, thank you very much for watching. Please take a moment to like and subscribe. Would really appreciate that. And I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care, stay safe, and from Sunflower and me, cheers.